I am the villain of my own story, the villain in my own life. Day 0. My room was a chaotic whirlwind of unpaid rent notices and bills, clothes strewn across the floor like fallen soldiers, and a sink full of dishes that seemed to mock my inaction. In this dimly lit prison of my own making, I lay in bed, my body a mere shell, breathing but feeling utterly lifeless. The ceiling above me was a vast blank canvas, and I stared at it with a sense of emptiness that mirrored the chaos around me. I felt like a heavy boulder pressed down on my chest, making each breath a laborious effort. My hands dangled over the edge of the bed, fingers brushing against the cool wooden floor. I caught a glimpse of my wrist, and for a fleeting moment, I imagined crimson droplets cascading down to the ground, pooling like the regrets I felt. I knew the reasons for my descent into this abyss. I could trace the lines of my failures like a map etched into my mind. I was heavier, not just in body but in spirit, a burden of my own making that had doubled in size over the last 3 years. Life felt like it was crumbling beneath me, and I was acutely aware of my role in this collapse. The unpaid rent and the towering bills, the neglected laundry and the dishes left to fester, it was all my doing. I had failed to take that leap of faith, to decide for myself what my life should look like. Fear and laziness wrapped around me like a suffocating blanket. I had failed to love myself, truly and unconditionally. With a deep sigh, I tried to release the tension that gripped my chest. Yet the image of that imagined cut on my wrist lingered. I closed my eyes, searching for clarity in the darkness. I had always known what steps to take to improve my life. The answers were not secrets, but rather shared wisdom readily available to all. Yet I resisted change, too comfortable in my stagnation, too afraid to step beyond the confines of my self-imposed limitations. Every night, as I returned home from work, I would tell myself, tomorrow, I'll start fresh. But the cycle continued. I would lay in bed, phone in hand, scrolling through a seemingly endless stream of self-improvement videos and motivational quotes. Change was accumulating on my screen, yet I never took action on a single item on my to-do list, which lay neglected on the desk beside me. I recalled a simple task I had once written down: make your bed. It was meant to be the first step in my journey towards self-improvement, but I hadn't bothered to do it in the mornings. Instead, I would stay up late, lost in the glow of my screen, and wake up late, panicking to get ready for the day. When I finally returned home, exhaustion washed over me like a tidal wave, and all I could manage was to kick off my shoes and collapse onto my bed. Again, I would open my phone for entertainment, losing myself in the mindless scroll, while the weight of my bad habits pressed down on me like a vice, tightening with every moment I wasted. My biggest mistake was not loving myself enough to break free from this cycle. As the sleeping pills seeped into my system, a heaviness settled over my eyelids, like a soft blanket pulling me into a dream. Yet my mind was a chaotic whirlwind, spinning with the relentless list of tasks awaiting me at dawn. Client meetings, departmental briefings, and the dreaded year-end review danced through my thoughts, each one more daunting than the last. I stole a glance at the clock, 10:30 p.m. The glowing numbers mocked my failed attempts to find solace in sleep. Tomorrow promised to be yet another marathon of exhaustion. With a sigh, I registered the date, December 1st. The calendar page turned, but the festive spirit felt as distant as the North Pole. Outside, the world was cloaked in twinkling lights and cheerful carols, yet here I lay, a 30-year-old single woman, wrapped in a cocoon of solitude, far from the joy of the season. The scent of pine from the nearby tree lot wafted through my window, mingling with the faint smell of cinnamon from a neighbor's baking, but it did little to stir my heart. A quote echoed in my mind, persistent and haunting. "You are the author of your own story." It reverberated with a bittersweet clarity, making me ponder my narrative. If life is indeed a tale penned by my own hand, then who, I wondered, had cast me as the villain? The weight of my choices pressed down, and I couldn't help but feel that I had turned my own story into a tragedy of missed opportunities and unfulfilled dreams. As I sank deeper into the embrace of sleep, the lines between reality and fiction blurred. I was caught in a plot of my own making, and as I drifted off, I could only hope that tomorrow would offer a chance to rewrite my role.